Greetings, traveler. I'm here to talk about Nubby's Number Factory, the last game ever made. All has been leading up to this. If you're watching this video, you're probably from a future civilization, and I am distant history. I'm glad you made it here. Every single piece of media ever made is a cited or uncited influence for this project. I do not know who developed this thing. Was it Tony? Was it the Sun? I do not know. And I frankly do not want to know. I do not need to know. Really, I actually believe this is not a game like others, where it would be apt to say that it was developed by this or that person. I do not need to know the history of its creation to say that with near utmost certainty. This project, instead, sprang straight from the mind of a singular entity. It was not developed, it was birthed. Powers beyond our comprehension prompted this. The laws of nature ensured it would happen. Entropy, perchance. Tony's or Nubby's or whoever's mind was merely a vessel to create what is now before us. The final game. Nubby is Ballitro meets Peggle for those people whose tumor has advanced too far. A simulator for Zoomers who want to know what the dementia will look like one day. It's everywhere at the end of time for our generation. Combining the latest in brain rot technology, addictive roguelike or light or whatever gameplay, gambling, and a truly surreal art style, composed of clashing bits and pieces of the real, the surreal, the non-real, the boreal, perchance. Time may yet prove this prestige of garbled brain rot is not just descriptive, but predictive, as this may be the new status quo as post-Doji and graphic design graduates are unleashed into the workforce and take the 17 job postings that still exist, while inbred AI takes care of the rest of any of our graphic design needs. Except, dare I say, AI could not construct such a soulful crock of insanity. What I truly had to appreciate about Nubby is that it predicted my every low attention span, low IQ individual instinct. Clicking on this locked out button makes a funny sound. The sound to go into the options menu is this percussive kick type shit. I spent 10 minutes in the menu before even playing the game. Nubby might just be the DAW of the year. But yes, contrary to what you might think from the word salad being vomited from my mouth about Nubby, as a concept rather than a game, this is indeed a game that has game play. So I believe anyway, and contrary to what this might look like, it is actually fairly simple. You shoot a ball named Nubby at these number pegs. You want to hit as many high numbers as possible to advance. Every now and then you enter a shop where you can get items, which in different ways increase your chances and give new ways of getting higher numbers. These items activate under specific circumstances, like Nubby being launched, Nubby dying, a peg being popped, you getting pegged, the wall being hit. There's a bunch of different types of items available. You got the old reliable peg poppers like Pedro, got the doublers, the summoners with icons like Monstrosity, Rubber Chicken, and the Crazy Straw, one of my recent favorites. Additionally, you gain perks, which give additional ways of activating the items you have. Cleverly combining items and perks is the name of the game here, folks. As with a clever synergy, you can soon break the game. You can also unlock the Nubby Cafe, where you can buy shish kebabs. Of course, a roguelike should sport as many Gamba-like elements as possible to be a good game. Next to available items, perks and foods being by nature owed to chance, there's also the old Gamba crane game. Here you can waste your money on trying to get a good item or even a perk, the latter option being truly helpful in any run. Except you'll usually get a piece of shit. Or you can grab the coin capsules, which sport a completely terrible EV, just terrible. Embarrassing really. I get them every time anyway. But what makes the crane game of actual interest is this here little capsule, which will grant you the access key to the black market. This is a nice place where you can find many slightly more interesting items like Fishman and Clay Guy, and where you will always buy the pregnancy test if it's available because, like, come on man, this is all you'll ever need. My cheese house's property price evaluation's gonna go to the fucking moon, bruh. What the pregnancy test does is it gives you an extra Nubby. The cheese house gives you guaranteed points upon Nubby dying. More Nubbies beget more Nubbies dying, meaning more guaranteed points. And with that, I'll give you the top secret Nubby mastery technique. Just buy cheese house early game, man. You may think me an old jester, but I rarely jest. There's multiple items that will really help you in the early game, like fucking poopin' fartin' and the empty space lad and stuff. But the real ones get in the cheese house. What is great about cruising through the early game is that you can get a shitload of money from doing so. And with a shitload of money you can get pretty damn far. The cheese house really falls off by late mid game, I think, which can be helped by some of the perks you can get or pregnancy tests, which as mentioned lead to the Nubby dice abilities being triggered multiple times. If you combine both, things can get pretty crazy. But not that crazy. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but though cheese house is not automatically unviable to beat the game, it kinda gets mocked by a bunch of other synergy setups. You may want to exchange the old cheese property you have bought with some more scalable alternatives so that in time you will not be left an overwhelmed linear cell. I usually go for as many items at double packs as possible. Exponential growth, son. With that, the base game mode might as well be solved. But there are more characters and challenges available, some of which will alleviate that. Some actively deactivate the old cheese house infinite money bread and butter. Some are just fucking bastards, like the one item challenge, the no perks challenge, the one where your items get deleted, the other one where your items get deleted, the one where you can't get back lives. Some of the challenges are quite fun as they make you reconsider your approach to the game and the strengths and weaknesses of available items. Others are fun as they make you reconsider if you really want to be alive anymore. Just how indomitable is that human spirit, I wonder? At the time of me playing this, there's a limited amount of outside resources telling you how to play this game properly, so you're somewhat forced to come up with new strats to beat all challenges, unless you leave your lot in the hands of Lady Luck. For the final challenge, I have damn near mastered the cheese house into lose strat, but whether you play the more difficult challenges or the not quite so difficult ones, Nubby has a way of keeping you on your toes, as even when you have a decent build starting to go off, a couple shitty rolls can ruin it all. But that's life. Coming back to the items, as much as I longed for the cheese house in early game, I must say in a state of the greatest regret imaginable that I cannot, in good conscience, bestow it the title of GOAT. That title might go to the pregnancy test, except pregnancy tests are illegal in this world, so that don't count. Facts. That leaves only one, the undisputed champion, Kazoo. Because Big Number goes bigger still. Facts. The game still has some growing pains. You can't save and quit, so you gotta commit to finishing what you start in one session. Also, not enough people play the game for there to be proper guides and strats on how to win that shit. At least I haven't found any. And then there's this thing where you unlock other characters by beating challenges, even though most other characters are easier to play as than the challenges are to beat. A very strange mechanism. Alright, I'll save you the correcting comment. I am not an engagement farmer like that, trust me. I started writing this video a couple weeks back and then went back to staring at my favorite wall for roughly 26 days or so. Coming back from that, it seems this complaint has been addressed in an update. Instead, you now gain currency for playing the game, which you can spend on new Tonys, which seems much more sensible. Not only that, indeed quite a couple of things have been added via update in the relatively short time frame this game has been on the old town market. Apart from balance changes, there's been new items and perks added, and I'm talking iconic stuff like Shit-Ass and Strawman. But wherever there's light, there's a dark side to meet it. Rarely has a piece of news shaken me to the core more than when I found out Jake the Snake had been made a black market item. The government banned the Jake the Snake trade. Can you believe that, people? Terrible. Just terrible. These are rough times. I heard the stock market even crashed after this terrible news came to light. The times of forced triggering Jake into insanity are over, before they even truly began. Speaking of the black market, I think the last update has changed the odds of pregnancy tests appearing there from a near certainty to an impossibility. For me, anyway. And that sample group is more than enough because I am the only sentient human being there is. Facts. Now, for the truly deciding question, should you play Nubby? Should you buy Nubby? I would say yes. And yes. Because it dares to say things few dare to say. Because it is an experience like no other. Because it is much cheaper than Assassin's Creed. Certainly, gamers around the world have been posing themselves this question the last couple of weeks. AC Shadows or Nubby? And I mean, AC Shadows, well, it doesn't have any pirate-based gameplay, so... I mean, Nubby doesn't either, but it does have pans. Facts. I hope that after all this rambling you have somewhat of an idea, some concept of what Nubby is. If you don't, I would say it like this. Nubby is a thinking man's game. Not because of the great intellect necessary to beat all the challenges. Actually that too. It could be argued beating all challenges could be used in a highly gifted certificate stead. But no, not because of that. But because of what it has to say. Nubby says a lot about life. I am just not yet sure as to what.